they can't get from just any vendor is the same sales experience, which is created by the sales rep. This means salespeople have almost complete control of their own destinies. Instead of blaming poor numbers on a crummy product line, a bad month, being forced to work completely remotely, or less than stellar leads, failing reps might consider analyzing their processes and brainstorming ways to make them more buyer-centric and buyer-friendly. Regardless of what industry you're in or what type of organizations you sell into, a few sales axioms hold. In today's video, we are going to show you how to sell anything to anyone. Without further ado, let's begin. Number 1. Make it about them. Do you have a friend or family member who monopolizes every conversation? They probably aren't your favorite person to talk to. Add a bragging tone, and they become especially intolerable. Just like you don't like listening to a self-absorbed acquaintance blabber, buyers don't like listening to salespeople talk at length about their companies or offerings. What you perceive as informative and interesting, prospects perceive as obnoxious and irrelevant. The cardinal rule of sales is to always make it about your buyer. Number 2. Do your research before reaching out. If you expect buyers to give you their time and learn about your product, you need to spend time learning about them first. In the age of social media, there's no excuse to call or email a buyer with no knowledge of what they do and what they care about. Pre-call research doesn't have to take a long time. Depending on your particular sales cycle, as little as 5 or 10 minutes per prospect might suffice. Number 3. Build rapport first. If a customer entered a retail store, you wouldn't immediately say, "Hello, would you like to buy this blouse?" You likely start by asking, "How are you today?" And then, "What brings you in today?" You might sprinkle in comments like, "I love that top you're wearing," or qualifying questions like, "So, you're looking for a cocktail dress? May I ask what the occasion is?" Similarly, when you're conducting B2B outreach to a prospect you haven't spoken with before, it's important to lean heavily on the research element we touched on in Step 2. If you notice your prospect lives in Phoenix, do a quick Google search of new restaurants in the area, and open by asking if they've been and what their favorite dish is. Are they from Colorado? Open by asking how the snow is this season, and if they're a skier. Number 4. Define your buyer. This might seem like a paradox, but the secret of selling anything to anybody is not attempting to sell just anything to just anybody. Whether you work in retail, auto sales, or B2B business, you'll have far more success if you're familiar with the characteristics of your target buyers and thoroughly qualify each prospect against that matrix. This is called an ideal buyer profile, and it's like having a secret weapon. By finding the specific type of anybody who is just right for your product or service, you'll avoid wasting time on poor fit leads. Instead, you'll have more time to devote to buyers with a good chance of becoming customers. Number 5. Contribute first, sell second. If you're defining your target buyer correctly, you'll spend the majority of your day talking to business leaders who have problems your product or service can solve. But just because you know this doesn't mean they do. Don't jump in with your pitch right off the bat. You run the risk of angering the prospect or scaring them away. Instead, offer your help in the way you think would be most valuable. Not sure where you can be of service? Ask. Maybe you can send along a breakdown of the latest features of a buyer's target car, or send them a piece of content that speaks to their needs. Perhaps you can draw on your expertise to speak about industry-wide trends the buyer might not be privy to. Pro tip: save templates of common questions you receive from buyers, so you can quickly follow up with a relevant message. Number 6. Ask questions and listen. No matter how thoroughly you've researched your prospect, there will be gaps in your knowledge, and you won't be able to help the buyers solve their issue if you don't fully understand it. For this reason, it's critical to ask thoughtful questions during your conversations, and a lot of them. Be curious. It's good to have a list of questions prepared as a jumping-off point, but you don't have to stick to them if the conversation takes an unexpected turn. People like talking about themselves and their situations, so your genuine interest and curiosity will help them warm up to you. After posing a question, fall silent and simply listen. Really hear what the buyer is saying, and don't just wait for your turn to speak. Number 7. Be mindful of psychological quirks. Our brains are wired to respond to certain situations in specific ways. Being aware of these psychological tricks can help you harness them to your benefit. Peak end rule. People remember the end at a high point within a presentation more vividly than any other section. Curse of knowledge. When someone who knows a lot about a given subject is unable to relate to someone who is not as familiar. Confirmation bias. We are more likely to accept information that aligns with our beliefs than contradictory evidence, no matter how compelling. Number 8. Approach them on their level. It's great when a salesperson brings their unique personality to their selling process. But bear in mind, you should also pay attention to your prospect's personality and tailor your approach accordingly. Our personal attributes have an impact on how we like to be sold to and what information we prioritize. Here's a brief breakdown of the 4 main personality types and their preferences: assertive, interested in results and the bottom line; amiable, interested in creative ideas and big picture visions; expressive, interested in people and how ideas affect others; analytics, interested in facts, figures, and data. Once you know which category your prospect fits into, play to their preferences and customize your messaging and presentation to nail what's most important to them. Number 9. Hit an emotional high point. There's no such thing as a purely rational decision. Like it or not, our emotions color how we process information and make decisions. With this in mind, salespeople who appeal solely to their buyer's logic are doing themselves a disservice. Every sales message, presentation, and the meeting should speak to the prospect's emotions, as well as their rational mind. Number 10. Remember, you're selling to a person. When you're sending countless outreach emails each and every day, it's easy to forget that leads are people, but they are, and they want to be treated as such. Use yourself as a litmus test. Would you like to get this email? Would you appreciate this voicemail? If not, there's a good chance your buyer won't either. It's important to be professional in sales, but it's also important to be personable. Buyers have lives outside of work and things they're passionate about that have nothing to do with their jobs. Build real rapport with your prospects by letting the conversation drift to the person every once in a while. It doesn't have to be, and shouldn't be, all business all the time. So guys, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. For more interesting content, give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more awesome content. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video.